Hey everybody, Sam Kavaris in the Nimnik Buick GMC video sports update. Ravens win the Super Bowl, and boy, that a couple of things come to mind. For some people, when the guy steps out of bounds or steps out of the end zone with 11 seconds, and in this case 4 seconds to play, change the dynamic of the game in terms of the scoring. It cost a lot of people a lot of money, let me put it that way. But nonetheless, 34-31 being the final, the over wins, and it's more scoring than I think a lot of people expected with the physical nature of both of those defenses. But it did show the kind of offensive explosiveness and offensive firepower that teams get when they've got really good quarterback play. Obviously, Joe Flacco was the MVP of the game and had a nice, beautiful game. In fact, threw 3 touchdown passes in the first half, engineered a lot of drives, threw the ball where he needed to throw it. And this is a guy really coming into his own, and he'll be rewarded with a new contract that'll pay him about $20 million a year. But that's what quarterback play can do for you. The only reason that the 49ers got back into the game is because Colin Kaepernick has an absolute cannon for an arm. I mean, if Flacco's got the best arm in the league, Kaepernick's got to have something close. And I know that you heard Phil Simms talk about that he throws it in places because of the velocity that he can get it to that so many other quarterbacks couldn't do and have never been able to do. The Niners will be back. You know, it's hard to say if they get back to the Super Bowl, but they certainly will continue to be a contender with physical, young defensive players. With Kaepernick at quarterback, they'll probably trade Alex Smith if somebody will offer them something. And in addition to that, Frank Gore's still got some years left, and they've got a very solid line, and they've got a receiving core that can get open, and 2 tight ends, and Vernon Davis is an all-pro type player. So, yeah, they're going to be good. The Ravens, probably the same situation. While some of their players are older, Ed Reed says he's coming back. Ray Lewis will be gone. Terrell Suggs will be healthy again. You know, they've got players still. Haloti Ngata, or those guys are going to make a difference on defense. And whenever you've got a defense that can compete, you're going to stay in games. With Flacco and Ray Rice and their receiving core, Anquan Boldin is a guy that I've always wanted, on my team, regardless. When he came out of Pahokee, I mean, he's the guy that he's strong. You see how he snatches the ball out of the air? That's what you're looking for in that kind of receiver, and he made those plays that really made a difference. So, congratulations to the Ravens. New Orleans itself, being there, it's still, I think, kind of still, it's dirty. It's got a feel all its own. Let's put it that way. And you either can adapt to it or not. And I know a lot of the attractive things about New Orleans are moving out of the French Quarter, moving to the periphery, and moving to some different places. So I think that that's important to recognize. But I can tell you, Bourbon Street's certainly not what it once was, and in some cases has a little bit of an edgy feel to it these days. But the lights going out at the Super Bowl, Roger Goodell says, will have no effect in the future, and apparently it had to do with some substation relay and how they supplied to the Superdome. Don't you think they ought to have had a backup for that? I had one here in Jacksonville. And as my friend Dan Hicken tweeted the other day, let's see, ice storm in Atlanta, snowstorm in Dallas, 16 degrees in New York yesterday, which is where the season will finish next year at the Super Bowl. And Jacksonville, 65 and sunny from Thursday at noon all the way until game time Sunday night. And the NFL made a ton of money here because it's a right-to-work state without a lot of unions, and the city gave them so many facilities for free. Don't think, no matter what you hear, and I hear people criticize the Jacksonville Super Bowl all the time. I heard it when I was in New Orleans once again. They don't know what they're talking about. The city needs a new hotel, new luxury hotel, and more cabs. That's when the game will come back. Why? Because the NFL owners had a great time here. They all stayed up there at Amelia. Some of them stayed at the Ritz. Some of them stayed at the Plantation. They had a great time. And here's another stat nobody recognizes. 90% of the visitors to the Super Bowl, no matter where it is, come in after noon on Thursday. Now, the media gets in Sunday prior. Our weather stunk for the first 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So all anybody did was bitch and moan and complain about it. That's not the case for people who came, most of the fans and most of the people who showed up Thursday at noon. If you remember, the weather got great and was great for the entire weekend. That's what the NFL owners remember and how much money they made, which is why sometime in the future, when Shad Khan determines that it's right, Jacksonville will get another Super Bowl. By the way, odds are out. Patriots 8-1, Broncos 7-1, Niners 7-1, Jaguars second consecutive year 100-1 to win the Super Bowl. I'm Sam Kavaris, and that's the Nimnicht GMC Buick Video Sports Update.